Good morning, everybody. Noah Sanford here. You guys already know the deal. We're getting ready for the February 15th, I think it's the 15th, yep, February 15th ABA Lake Mohave tournament. So really excited to get out there today, just getting some breakfast ready right now. So that way if we forget our lunch again, we have a good breakfast. I don't know if you guys saw the last video, but I totally forgot all of my lunch and food on the counter, so that sucked. I'm gonna make sure I don't do that today, but going out to Lake Mohave right now, guys, with my dad. Talked him into fishing at this time. My dad and I haven't fished a tournament together in a long time, so I'm really excited to get out there and hopefully catch some bass today. It's supposed to be a cold one, it's supposed to be a windy one, so we'll see what happens, but I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up breakfast and I'll catch you guys when we're on the way to Lake Mohave. All right, guys, we made it down here. Got my dad on the boat. I don't know what he's doing, but we're out here on Lake Mohave, guys, just launched. Got all the boats in the water. I'm not sure how many boats we have. There's at least 50, but it looks like we have a pretty decent field. It might be close to 60 today, I'm not sure. We'll know later today, but we are flight number 3 and our check-in is at 3:30. So that's gonna give us, probably about 8.5 or 9 hours of fishing. So it's already starting to get breezy. We're about to get ready for the national anthem. We're gonna roll on up here and get going. I don't know. All right, made it to the first spot. Only about a 1-minute run, so not bad at all. We're gonna get fishing, see if we can catch something. So to give you guys kind of an understanding of what our game plan was for the day today, we didn't really want to go far from Cottonwood, but the couple spots we tried in the morning really didn't pan out. We fished near Cottonwood for the first probably hour or so with completely zero action, and so we made the decision to go ahead and run down towards Catherine's Landing, down at the south end of the lake where I had fished the last tournament last month. Now keep in mind that I hadn't been down to Mohave and neither had my dad since the last tournament last month in January. And so we really were kind of just scrambling. We didn't really have a solid game plan. We didn't know what the fish were going to be biting on. And so here we are down at Catherine about a half hour later. For those of you guys who don't know, it's about a, 40-ish mile run. So it took us about 30, 35 minutes to get down there. And we fished for like 3 hours with absolutely no bites, no action, no nothing. We fished a bunch of different spots. You can see that last spot was steep. This spot right here, we kind of move into some shallow water. We see a couple nice largemouth cruising in that shallow water, 5 to 10 feet with these toolies in the back of coves. We found this pattern throughout the day, but none of the fish we found in the shallow water were biting. It didn't matter what we threw at them. We couldn't get them to bite a single thing. So finally we move out to some deeper water again here in a little bit. And that's when we actually finally hook our first fish. Crazy thing about this first fish, guys, is it's literally the same exact spot that I caught our second keeper at last month. And it's on the same exact bait, pretty much the same exact cast. And I'll overlay the clip from last month after you see this clip to see just how similar the conditions were with the wind and the time of day. The time of day was only about 30 minutes apart too. So really goes to show you when you pull a fish out of a spot, there's always going to be another one to move into that spot. Right there. That was exactly where I landed it. Come on, there's gotta be a fish back there right now. No way. Again, dude, same spot. Same spot. Same spot, dude. Same exact spot. That's crazy. That's crazy. Oh, dude, it's a pig.
Move the trolling motor forward. There you go.
Same exact spot. Here he comes. He's gonna jump right into the net. You get him? Yeah. Literally the same exact spot. Guys, we are literally in the same exact spot. Go check out last month's video. Same exact spot that I caught that 3-pounder.
Same exact conditions.
Same exact conditions, everything. Same exact cast. Just caught another one. Unbelievable. So we fish around for another 30, 45 minutes. This is a little bit further up the lake, and my dad ends up hooking our best fish of the day right here. Is just over 4 pounds, an absolute solid smallmouth for Lake Mohave. Number 2. Good one?
Yeah.
You want to spot lock it?
Get him! Get him!
Woo-hoo-hoo! Dude.
That's a pig.
Holy crap. Dude, that's a 4-pounder. That's a 4-pounder. Dude. And we fish down that wall a little bit longer, and then about 5 or 10 minutes later, we make another loop back around. I make a cast in the exact same spot that he caught that big one out of, and we ended up pulling another fish out of it. So it goes to show you, when you pull a fish out of a good spot, another one is close to follow.
He was sitting this way.
You think he would have ate the jig?
Nah.
Fish.
All right, get it.
Yep. Same spot. I'm getting us out of the garage. It's a good one. He's coming. Whew, it's not as big, but it's another keeper. Another 2-pounder. He had his mouth open. He was pulling hard. Here. The first one. Dude, come on. 2 more. Unfortunately, we weren't able to keep the momentum going after those 2 fish back to back. And if any of you guys are watching and have fished tournaments before, you'll know that that's just how it is some days. Sometimes you get on them and sometimes you don't. And unfortunately, today was one of those days where we didn't get on them. It wasn't quite over yet for us, but for the most part, our action pretty much died. You can see we're fishing in these gross conditions. We try the wind-blown points like this one for another hour or 2. Couldn't get any bites there. Eventually, we try some more of those shallow areas like the one you see here, where we saw those nice fish cruising up shallow earlier. Unfortunately, it was the same thing though. We saw a couple more really big fish. Like we saw a really big, probably another 3.5, 4-pound smallmouth up in this shallow water. It chased my dad's jig right to the boat, but wouldn't eat it. Really frustrating, and I'm sure that some of the guys who did well in this tournament were able to find some of these shallow areas, depending on where they were at throughout the lake, and they were able to figure out how to get these fish to bite. But unfortunately, guys, we just didn't have enough time and practice to figure out how to get these shallow, big fish to bite, and that's just kind of what it ended up being. So we fished for another 3 or 4 hours, finally pound our way all the way back to Cottonwood, which you're going to see here, and my dad hooks our last fish right here just before the end.
We've had 3 bites today.
It's crazy.
3 bites. Not all 3 of them.
I was going to say, at least we didn't make any freaking mistakes.
There's one.
Yeah? It's all right. It's a good one. Just relax on it. Just keep him coming.
Good one. Good. Here he comes.
It's a good one, dude. Well, guys, I thought I was recording when we just weighed all the fish, but apparently I wasn't. So we ended up weighing, let me get the slip here. I don't quite remember. So we ended up getting 1079 for 4 fish. So big fish was a 404. So not bad. That one big smallmouth my dad caught, 4 pounds, 0.04. So pretty dang good smallie. It's probably not gonna get any big fish checks because there were a few bigger than it when we weighed it, but 4 pound smallie, man, that's no joke. That's a good fish. So 1079 for 4 fish. I mean, we only got barely 11 last tournament out here for 5 fish. So the numbers were down. We left one biting, but the quality was definitely up. So I'm gonna go ahead and release these so you guys can actually see the fish, and then we're gonna put them back in the water. All right. There's Big Mama right there, guys. There's the 404, absolute beauty of a smallmouth. There she goes. Another solid one right here. This was like a 2 pounder, 2.5 maybe. This was a little guy, a little 1.5 pounder. And finally another nice little 2 pounder right here. So not a terrible day, guys, but definitely not gonna win anything. Well, guys, there you have it. Lake Mohave now owns both of my hats. The last tournament last month here in January, I lost my hat on the ride back in. And now this time I lost my hat on the ride back in. So 2 hats down. But anyways, guys, we ended up with 1079, like I said, out there on the water. So for 4 fish, it could have been a lot worse. Big fish of a 404, which my dad caught. So that was an absolute pig. If we had 4 of those, we would have, or 5 of those, we probably would have won. But it is what it is, guys. 1079, like I said, we only got barely over 11 for the last tournament. So we're definitely up on quality, just down a fish. So we're gonna go ahead and head over to Denny's. We'll give you guys a little recap once we get there and eat some food. Well, guys, here we are in the Denny's Searchlight, wrapping up with the tournament. We had an absolute grinder today. We fished that first little spot near Cottonwood to start. Didn't work out, so we drove all the way down to that same stuff that Ron and I were doing well at down by Catherine's, all the way down there by Laughlin, Bullhead. Ended up catching our first 3 fish down there, including that big one that my dad hooked, 404. Big old smallmouth, which some of those fish that some guys weighed in made it look like a small one, which is crazy, but ended up coming right back up and caught our 4th fish right, you know, just maybe a 1/4 mile or a 1/2 mile below Cottonwood Marina. And that was it, guys. We left one out there, 80%. We left one for the lake. So that's just how it goes some days. I know a lot of guys can relate to that. I'll let my dad give a quick recap too, his point of view.
You handed me the fork. You know, I thought we did okay. I think there were a lot more fish to be caught. We zigged when we should have zagged, zagged when we should have zigged. And
Bro, what?
you know, that's we caught all of our fish on crawdad imitating baits. You know, anything that looks like a little jig or a little crawdad. I was pleased though because I personally caught my personal best smallmouth, a 404. I don't really fish a lot for smallmouth, so getting one.
Largemouth guy.
I'm a largemouth guy in the jungle, so to get one over 4, I've caught a lot of 3s, 3.5s, but I've never caught a fish over 4. So
Smallmouth over 4.
I'm sorry, a smallmouth over 4. So it was a fun time, but we definitely could have done better if we spend more time on Mohave. We just don't spend enough time on Lake Mohave. We spend all of our time on mead. So let me turn the fork back over to you, sir.
I think that sums it up pretty good, guys. I mean, that's really the truth, is that my dad and I spend 99% of our hours on a boat on Lake Mead. I mean, we just never get down to Lake Mohave. Both of the last tournaments, last time we were down here was January for the last tournament. neither of which we pre-fished for. So to show up completely blind, have no idea. Yeah, we didn't pre-fish today. We showed up completely blind today too. So to show up with no pre-fish, no practice, and still obviously not perform great, but to do all right, it's good enough in my book. Still had a fun day out on the water. So it's gonna wrap it up, guys. Appreciate you tuning in. My name is Noah Sanford. We'll see you guys out on the water.